Manual.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Usually, I don't know. I just need manual testing, but I don't know about the Java.
I mean, manual testing plus automation. In automation, we are going to cover the Selenium with Java.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
here, yeah. Are you from IT background or non-IT background?
No, no, not at all.
Yeah, you are from non-IT only, right?
Non-IT.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So here, coming to this manual testing initially, today I'll give you information about our training. So from tomorrow onwards, we're entering into our regular session. So today, just I'm giving the information about the training. So what are the things we are going to cover in this training and everything? Okay, no?
Mm-hmm.
See,
Okay.
observe here, any idea on HDLC? Anytime you listen this word, HDLC, software
Yeah.
development lifecycle.
Yeah. Life cycle. Yes, yes, I did it.
Yes, it is nothing but a steps to develop a software. What are the steps involved in software development? So before entering into the testing, we should know about this SDLC, then only we should enter into the testing. Okay. See, observe this SDLC. The first phase is requirement collection. So in this requirement collection, the vendor people will go to the client area and just a minute, the training the person is calling. Yes, sir. Just I started. Yeah, recording is started. Yeah. Okay. Fine. See, option here, requirement collection means initially the vendor people will go to the client area and they will collect the requirements. So here, who is a vendor and who is a client? Vendor means who develops the project. Vendor means who develops the project. That person or that company is called as a vendor. Client means to whom you are developing the application. To whom you are developing the application. That person or that company is called as a client. For example, a general example, a Wipro software company develops a project for ICICI Bank. For example, in this example, who is a vendor and who is a client? Can you guess?
Can you repeat one more time, please?
Here, vendor means who develops the project. No? Who develops
Mm-hmm.
the project? That person is called as a vendor. Client
Mm-hmm.
means to whom you are developing the application. That person is called as a client. So here in
Okay.
this example, a general example, a Wipro software company develops a project for ICICI Bank. So in
Yeah.
this example, who is a vendor and who is a client? Here, who?
Vendor is Wipro. Vendor is
Yeah.
Wipro company, and the ICICI Bank is client.
Yes. So here vendor is Wipro. Why? Because they are developing the project. And here the ICICI is client. Why? Because the Wipro people develops a project for ICICI Bank. Right? Till this are you okay? So here
Yes.
in every company, in every software company, we have a team like requirement gathering team or a requirement collection team. A requirement gathering team or a requirement collection team. So that requirement gathering team will go to the client area. They will discuss with the client and they will gather the requirements. They will collect the requirements and they documented the requirements as a BRS and FRS. They documented the requirements as a BRS and FRS. What is a BRS and what is a FRS? BRS means a business requirement specification. FRS means functional requirement specification. Okay, ma'am. Business requirement specification and functional requirement specification. Anyway, from tomorrow onwards, we are entering into our regular course. In our regular course, our first document is the BRS and FRS. Initially, tomorrow we are going to see what is the template of BRS and what is the template of FRS. After that, I'm going to show example requirement documents to you. We are going to work with the example of banking requirements. Based on this banking requirements only, we are going to see how to test a particular project. How to test a particular project. Okay, ma'am? See, today's our job is as DLC, software development lifecycle. The first one is a requirement collection. In every company, there is a team like a requirement gathering team. The requirement gathering team will go to client area. They will collect the requirements and they document the requirements as a BRS and FRS. BRS means a business requirement specification. FRS means a functional requirement specification. So now coming to the second phase, feasibility analysis. But as a test engineer, so where is our job? Our job is only with the test. So we are not involved in any other phases, only for information. So we need to discuss all these things. Okay. The second one is the feasibility analysis. So what is the meaning of a feasibility? Feasibility means possibility. Possibility. See, to perform any task, we have a number of possibilities. To perform any task, we have a multiple possibilities. Out of a multiple possibilities, we have to check the best possibility. We have to check the best possibility. Here also in the feasibility analysis, mainly the four things will be analyzed. Now, what are the four things here? The first one is a domain analysis. Domain analysis means the project is coming under which domain? Like, is it a banking domain, insurance domain, healthcare domain, so e-commerce? So the project is coming under which sector? In our language, we can say like it is coming under which sector. It means the project is coming under which domain, which category. The second one is the technology. So which is the best technology to develop the project? Which is the best technology? Java is the best, or the .NET is the best. So like that, which is the best technology to develop the project. Resources, like to complete the project, what are the hardware things required? What are the software things required? How much manpower is required? Okay, but to complete the project, what are the hardware things? What are the software things? And how much manpower is required? All these things are called as a resources analysis. Finally, time and budget. To complete the project, how much time it will take? How much budget it will take? I mean, it is also called as a time and cost. So how much time and how much cost it will take to complete the project. So all these four things will be analyzed in the feasibility analysis. What are the four issues? Number one, domain analysis. Means the project is coming under banking or insurance or healthcare or e-commerce, like that. Second one is technology analysis, which is the best technology to develop the project, like Java or .NET, like that. Resources, like hardware resource, software resource, and human resource. To complete the project, what are the hardware things required? What are the software things required? How much manpower is required? Finally, time and budget or time and cost. To complete the project, how much time it will take and how much cost it will take. All these things will be analyzed in the feasibility analysis. Okay. So now coming to the designing, HLD and LLD. So HLD stands for high level designing. LLD stands for low level design. HLD is representing the complete project architecture. The LLD is representing the individual modules architecture. For example, your project is having a 3 modules. Assume like your project is having a 3 modules. So on each and every module, the clear information is available with LLD. Whereas the complete project information is available with HLD. High level designing is representing the complete project architecture. LLD is representing the individual modules architecture. So now coming to the coding. Coding is done by the programmers or developers. They will develop the source code here. They will develop source code. What is the meaning of source code? The code which is used to develop your project. The code which is used to develop your project is called as a source coding. The source coding is done by your developers or programmers in this coding part. Now coming to our job is testing. So as a test engineer, our job is we need to download the requirements and we need to study the requirements. Based on the requirements only, we need to verify your project. But where is the requirements? The requirements are available in the first phase itself. Here itself, the requirements are available. We need to download these requirements. And after downloading the requirements, we need to study the requirements. And after that, we have to check whether all the requirements are fulfilled in the project or not. We have to verify whether all these requirements are fulfilled in the project or not. You have to verify that. So with using any tools, if you conduct the testing, so that is called as a automation testing. Without using any tools, if you verify that, that is called as a manual testing. For example, a general example. So take a apartment. A apartment is having a 20 floors, for example. There is an apartment with 20 floors. You want to go to the 10th floor. Better use the lift. With using the lift, we can go to the 10th floor. Whereas you want to go to the first floor or second floor, you need to wait at least 10 minutes for the lift. So instead of waiting 10 minutes, by steps, you can go to the first floor or second floor. That means sometimes you have to go for a manual process, sometimes you need to go with a automation process. See, in our apartment example, if you want to go to the 10th floor, better we can use the lift facility. If you want to go to either first floor or second floor, we can go to the manual process, steps process. Here also, if you want to test an application with a lot of inputs, for example, you want to test an application with 100 inputs or 1000 inputs, like that, better you can go with the automation. So if you want to test an application only with one or two inputs, better you can go with a manual testing. And sometimes even the testing is a small testing, the repeatability may be more. The same testing should be repeating for multiple times. So in that case, better you can go with the automation. For example, you want to go to the second floor in your apartment. Second floor is very small thing, but daily 20 times you need to go for a second floor. For example, second floor is very small issue, but daily 20 times or 30 times you need to go for a second floor. So again, better go with a lift only. Here also, sometimes even the testing is a small testing, the repeatability may be more. When there is a repeatability, again go with the automation. Once if you write a program, the same program can be reused for multiple times. Right, Amma? You got my point? Without any tools, if you conduct a testing, that is called as a manual testing. With using tools, if you conduct a testing, that is called as a automation testing. Here in the automation, we are going to cover the Selenium with Java. Java means only the core Java. No need to go with any advanced Java. We need only the core Java. Here in my training program, so after completion of each and every program, I'll enter into your screen. You need to practice the program under my guidance. So once you are comfortable with one program, then only I'll go with the second program. So like that, after completion of every program, I'll enter into your screen. In this Zoom meeting, you are able to see my screen. Parallelly, I can see your screen. You will be the presenter. After completion of every program, you will be the presenter. You need to show your screen. And here all the required installations I'll take care of, because here the Selenium is open source. Selenium tool is open source. Open source means free of cost. So no need to go with any licenses. So there is no legal issues. So I'll install all the supporting tools in your machine. So you can practice under my guidance only. So no need to worry about the programming or practicing purpose. I'll take care about the complete practicing part. Okay. See, now after this testing, what is the next phase in your SDLC? Release and maintenance. So what is the meaning of release? Release means install the application in the client area. Install the application in the client area. It's called as a release. So after that installation, if the client needs any modification, or if the client is having any doubts, that will take care by the maintenance team. So they are also called as a production supporting team. The maintenance team are also called as a production supporting team. So after the installation, if the client needs any help, or if the client needs any modifications, that will take care by the maintenance team. Okay, just it is a rough idea about SDLC. So now coming to our responsibilities as a QA engineer, what is our job responsibilities? So initially we need to download the requirements like BRS and FRS. As a QA engineer, what is your first day work? Initially, we need to download the requirements like a BRS and FRS related to your particular project, whatever the project. Okay. After that, you need to study the requirements. They will give a time period according to your project size. According to the project size, they will give a time period. So that may be 10 days or 1 week like that. In that time period, you need to study the requirements. But while studying the requirements, if you have any doubt, like you have a doubts in BRS or you have a doubts in FRS, so where you need to enter the doubts? You need to enter the doubts in RCN template. What is this RCN? RCN stands for Requirement Clarification Note. What is RCN? Requirement Clarification Note. That means in the requirement documents, if you need any clarifications, you need to enter that clarifications here. Requirement Clarification Note. And it is also called as a clarification document. It is also called as a clarification document. To whom you need to send these doubts? You need to send the doubts to your SME. SME means subject matter expert or domain expert, business analyst, or author of the document. Author of the document. According to your company standards, you need to send the doubts to this particular people. So once your doubts are rectified, then we are entering into our testing job. Okay, ma'am? So here in our testing, the main job is TC preparation. Anytime you listen about the TCs, test cases. Anytime you listen about the test cases, our main job is TC preparation, test case preparation. See, from tomorrow, whenever we are entering into our regular course, our first thing is we need to verify the template of BRS and the template of FRS. After the templates, we are going to see the example FRS document for a banking project. Once you are okay with that FRS document, once you are okay with the complete requirements, then we are going to see how to prepare the test cases and how to prepare the test scenarios. Practically, we are going to prepare the test cases. We have some templates, the test case template and the test scenarios template. So we are going to prepare all these test cases and test scenarios. Okay, ma'am? See, what is the meaning of test scenario? Initially, we need to identify the scenarios. So what is the meaning of a test scenario? Test scenario is nothing but the main functionalities to be tested. Main functionalities to be tested. It is nothing but the important points to be tested. What are the main things you need to test in your project? So that is called as a scenarios. Scenarios. Okay, ma'am? The main functionalities to be tested. What are the important points? What are the main things to be tested in your project? So that is called as a scenarios. Under each and every scenario, we need to prepare the multiple test cases. Under each and every scenario, we need to prepare the multiple test cases. But to prepare the test cases, we are depending on the scenarios. We are depending on the scenarios and we are depending on the use cases. We are depending on use case. But what is this use case and where is this use case? So this use case is a part of your FRS. Use case is a part of the FRS document. See, Absha here, tomorrow when we discussed the BRS template and FRS template, in this FRS template, the last point will be the use case. In that FRS, what is the last point in the FRS? The use case. Use case means it is containing the actor action and system response. For example, assume like it is the example use case for your Gmail. It is the example use case for your Gmail. In your Gmail, what is your first action? What you are going to do in your mails? First of all, you are entering the URL like a www.gmail.com. Then what is the system response? When you enter the gmail.com, the system response will be, it will display the login page. After you getting the login page, what is the next action? Your next action is you enter your username, you entering the password, you click on submit button. Then what is the system response? The system will display your inbox. Right? So assume like it is an example use case for your Gmail. So based on this use case only, we are going to prepare the test case. We are going to prepare the test cases. So in the test case, you need to perform this action. In the test case, you need to perform these particular actions. And when you are performing these actions, In the expected result, you need to write it. In the expected result, you need to write it. That means whenever you are entering the URL, what you need to expect, our expectation is the login page should be displayed. The next action, when you are entering the username, password, and submit, then what you are expecting, it should display the inbox. So whatever the system response is there, it is nothing but expected result in your test case. Okay, ma'am? So if the expected and actual both are same, the test case will be passed. Okay, ma'am? If the expected and actual both are same, the test case will be passed. If the expected and actual both are mismatched, then the test case will be failure. But anyway, slowly we are going to learn all these things, how to study the use case, based on the use cases, how to prepare the test cases, and all these things slowly we are going to learn. Just today I'm giving a little bit information, what is our job and everything. Right, Amma? You got my point? So as a QA engineer, what is our job responsibilities?
Download the requirement.
Download the requirements, study the requirements, but while studying the requirements, if any doubts, if you have any queries, where you need to enter the queries, the queries will be in RCN, requirement clarification note. It is nothing but a clarification document. To whom you need to ask the doubts? You need to ask the doubts to SME, subject matter expert, domain expert.
So I have to ask all of them or just any?
No, according to the company, according to your company standards, they will assign only one particular person. He may be SME, he may be domain expert, he may be business analyst, or author of the document. So you need to ask your requirement related documents to that particular paper. Okay, whenever your doubts are rectified, then we are entering into our job. So as a QA engineer, our main job is a TC preparation. But before the TC preparation, we need to identify the scenarios. The scenarios means the main functionalities to be tested, the important points. Under each and every scenario, you need to prepare a multiple test cases based on the use case. But where is this use case? The use case is a part of your FRS. Initially, before that, we are downloading the requirements and we are studying the requirements. In that FRS, we have the use case. Based on this use case only, we are going to prepare our test cases. Okay, ma'am? Okay. See, the next one, we need to prepare the test data. Test data means the data which is used to execute your test cases. The data which is used to execute or implement your test cases. The data is called as a test data. For example, a general example, your test case is verify a login functionality. Your test case is verifying the login functionality. So then what will be the test data? There is a valid data and invalid data. You have to check the project with valid inputs and you have to check with invalid inputs. So valid inputs means in a login functionality, what is the valid input? Valid username and valid password is a valid input. Invalid input means invalid username and invalid password. That means you have to check the functionality, login functionality with a valid username password as well as with a invalid username password also. Right, that is called as a positive testing and negative testing. You have to conduct both positive testings and negative testing. What is the meaning of positive testing? Test the application with a valid input is called as a positive testing. So test the application with invalid input is called as a negative testing. So if you enter the valid input, your project should allow you. If you enter the invalid input, your project should not allow you. Right, Amma, you got my point? As a QA engineer, you need to test with both valid inputs and invalid inputs. But where you need to prepare that valid and invalid inputs, in this test data preparation, we are going to prepare the valid data and we are going to prepare the invalid data also. Right, Amma? Are you okay? Yes. Just I'm giving a rough information only. In future, daily we are going to discuss these topics day by day. Okay. So in the same way, we have a traceability matrix. Traceability matrix means a mapping between the use cases and test cases. A mapping between use cases and test cases. So that means, for example, here we are preparing the test cases based on the use case only. We are preparing the test cases based on the use cases only. So here we need to map under use case 1, what are the test cases we designed? For example, we designed a TC1, TC2, test case 1, test case 2. Again, under the use case 2, what are the test cases we designed? For example, we designed TC2, TC3, TC4, TC5. Again, under use case 3, which test cases we designed, like a TC6, TC7, for example. So like that, we need to mapping. So mapping between the use cases and test cases. Like what are the test cases you designed based on which use case? Based on which use case? So this type of mapping is called as a traceability matrix. Of course, we have a separate template for the traceability matrix. So you can see here, there is a separate template for traceability matrix. In this traceability matrix, we need to mapping the use cases with the test cases. Use cases with test cases. So we are preparing test cases, but where is the use cases? Now, where the use cases are available?
Use cases?
Where the use cases are available, we are not preparing the use cases. Use cases are
FRS.
a part of
FRS.
the FRS. Right, Amma? So based on that use case only, we are going to prepare the test cases. Here we need to mapping under which use case, what are the test cases you designed. Under use case 1, which test cases you designed. Under use case 2, which test cases you designed. Like that, there is a mapping is there, that is called as a traceability matrix. Right, Amma? Got my point? So all these things are our responsibilities. As a QA engineer, we need to do all these things at your company. So the next one is, we need to execute our test cases on the build. What is the meaning of the build? Build means it may be a complete application or it may be a part of the application which is ready for testing. Which is ready for testing. It may be a full application or it may be a part of the application. Part of the application means it may be a module which is ready for testing. So you need to execute your test cases on the build, but while executing the test cases, some test cases may be pass, some test cases may be failure. Now, when you can say like a test case is pass and when you can say a test case is failure, in a test case, we have a expected value and actual value. If the expected and actual both are same, the test case will be passed. If the expected and actual both are mismatched, the test case will be failure. So test case failure is nothing but a defect is raised. Test case failure is nothing but a defect is raised. So where you can enter the defect, you can enter the defect in bug report. There is a template like bug report template. We need to enter the defects in bug report. Finally, the bug report will be reached to developer. Why the bug report reached to the developer? Finally, the bug should be fixed by developer only. Who will fix the bugs? The bug should be fixed by the developer only. We are not fixing the problems. Just we have to identify the problem. We have to identify the problem. The problem should be fixed by developers only. So here the developer have to fix the bugs, and developer have to fix the bugs based on the priority. First, high priority bugs will be fixed. Next, medium priority. Next, low priority. Like that, one by one, the bug fixing will be done by the developer. In future, we are going to see what is a severity, what is a priority, who will set the severity, who will set the priority, and all these things we are going to cover in our regular courses. So here, once the major bugs are fixed, once the major bugs, the maximum bugs are fixed, then the modified build will be given to the test engineer. Modified build given to the testers. Now, why the modified build given to the testers? We need to confirm. We need to confirm really the bug is fixed or not. But developer said like, okay, the problem solved. But we have to recheck. We have to confirm really the problem is solved or not. So that's why after fixing the major bugs, The modified build will be given to the test engineer. So we have to recheck if the problem is fixed. Really, if the problem is fixed, the test engineer have to close the bug. We have to close the bug. Here the bug fixing is different. The bug closing is different. Who will fix the problem? The developer have to fix the problem. Who will close the problem? The test engineer have to close the problem. That means we have to close the problem. So when you will close the problem, you need to conduct the recheck, retesting. Really, if the problem is fixed, you need to close it. If the problem is not properly fixed, then simply send back the problem to your developer. Right, you got my point?
I got it.
See, if the really problem is fixed, you can close it. Else, simply send back to your developer. And we have one more document in our department. That one more document is test plan. So actually, this test plan is prepared by the test lead or test manager. But before entering into our activities, before entering into the testing activities, we need to study the test plan. We need to study the test plan. So what is this test plan? See, for example, a general example, I have a 10 days holidays. I want to go for a holiday trip. Before start my holiday trip, I'm going to prepare a plan that is called as trip plan, my trip plan. In the trip plan, generally we are writing, maybe in physical or logical, we are going to write the schedule. Schedule means what is a day 1 plan, day 2 plan, day 3 plan. That is a schedule. Next one, resources. For holiday trip, what are the resources required? Resources means money, food, clothes, and all those things are resources. And objective, what is our main objective in this trip? What is our main goal in this trip? Next, scope. Scope means what to do, what not to do. In this trip, what we can do and what we should not do. So like that, the same like a trip plan, same like a holiday trip plan. Here we have a test plan. Both are same. In this test plan, they will write the objective of the testing. What is our main goal? The main objective of the testing. Scope of the testing. Scope means boundaries. What to be tested, what not to be tested. Resources. For testing department, what are the software things required? What are the hardware things required? How much manpower is required? Schedules, like a timetable. How many days for scenarios? How many days for test cases? How many days for test data? How many days for traceability matrix? How many days for TC execution? Like that, we have some timetable, schedules. And all these things are available in the test plan. So it is prepared by your test lead or test manager. But before entering into our activities, we need to study the test plan. Right, Amma? Are you okay? See, here in our manual testing, we need to prepare all these things like a test scenarios, test cases, bug reports, and a traceability matrix. We need to prepare all these things. And we need to study some theoretical issues also. The theoretical topics are models like SDLC, software development lifecycle, software testing lifecycle. SDLC stands for software testing lifecycle, and bug lifecycle. BLC stands for bug lifecycle. We have a different types of testings. The different types of testings are sanity testing, smoke testing, formal testing, informal testing, regression testing, retesting. So we have a different types of testings here: exploratory testing, error guessing, mutation, monkey testing, functional testings, non-functional testings. We have a different types of testings. We are going to see all the types of testings here. And we have some theoretical issues like definitions. How can you define a software? What are the different categories of softwares? How can you define a testing? And what is the definition for manual testing? What are the benefits of testing? What is our testing objective? What is a quality? So like that, we have a small definition parts. And we need to see the models, some SDLC models. SDLC models means waterfall model, V model, RAD model, prototype model, spiral model, agile model. So like that, we are going to see the SDLC models, different models here. And we have some techniques like testing techniques, static testing and dynamic testing. In the static testing, again, we have some techniques. And in the dynamic testing, again, we have some techniques like white box and black box. Again, in the white box, we have some testings. And in black box, we have some testings. And in white box, we have some techniques. In black box, we have some techniques. So theoretically, we are going to see all these things. Just today, just I explained only the course content, what we are going to see from tomorrow onwards. Okay, ma? So from tomorrow onwards, I'll enter into the BRS template and FRS template. After that, I'll explain the example requirements. And based on that, we are going to start our test scenarios as well as the test cases. Okay, ma? And after 1 or 2 days, parallelly, we are going to start our core Java also. Core Java. Why? Because before entering into the Selenium, we should familiar with core Java. So that's why here parallelly manual half an hour and core Java half an hour we are going to continue. And parallelly the manual and core Java will be finished. And after that we are entering into the Selenium. Okay, just it is our course pattern. And here we have a classes from Monday to Friday in Indian timings. In Indian timings, we have a classes from Monday to Friday. And daily you will get the recordings. The Srinivas sir is our coordinator. He will send the daily recordings to you. And you will get this material also. He will send the material. We have a material for both manual testing and automation testing. And he will send the soft copies to you. And you must maintain the notes. The notes is mandatory, a physical notes. It's not a notepad typing. You must maintain the notes from tomorrow. In that notes, one side we need to maintain the manual, opposite side you need to maintain the automation. Same notes, one side a manual, opposite side automation. So the notes is mandatory. The important points you need to note it down. Okay, ma? See, and here it is my training pattern. And coming to the Selenium with Java, so don't worry about the programming. So here I'll take care about the complete programming. I'll start from the basics onwards. And once you are comfortable with one program, then only I'll go with the second program. So like that, you can practice each and every program under my guidance. So don't worry about the programming. So here, after 1 or 2 days only, I'll enter into the core Java. Initially, first 1 or 2 days, I'll take a small sessions. But because if I take a big session, you will get a confused. Slowly, I'll start this requirements and so on. So once you are comfortable with all these training part, then we are entering into the core Java. Say half an hour manual testing. If I explain a 1 hour manual testing, the problem is, for example, if I teach a 4 documents in 1 day, you can't by heart all these 4 documents. So that's why daily 1 or 2 documents we are going to discuss in manual, and 1 or 2 programs we are going to discuss in automation. Then at your home, you can practice that automation programs. Parallelly, you need to by heart only 1 or 2 documents per day. So like that, we need to study all these documents and the core Java parallelly. Once everything is over, then we are entering into our Selenium. So in Selenium, our main concentration is Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver is a functional tool. Selenium WebDriver is a functional tool. What is the meaning of functional tool? Functional tool means that is used to conduct the functionality testing on the application. Functionality testing on the application. We are going to conduct the functionality testing, like whether the application, the project functionalities are properly working or not. Right? The project functionalities are properly working or not. See, this just it is about my training. Just it is a 40 minutes, a small introduction session only. So from tomorrow onwards, we are entering into our regular course. Right? Any queries from your side? Any questions
No.
you need to ask?
So yeah, I have. So if I have a iPad, can I use it for
No, better go with laptop only. So why? Because I mean, for manual testing, anything is okay, but for automation testing, the laptop is the recommended thing.
Okay, then I have to buy. I don't have laptop, so
Okay. So we need to try it out whether in your iPad can we install the Eclipse or not. But it will not support for all the tools. Some tools may be supported in the Mac. Some tools may not be supported in the Mac. Okay, that's why for manual testing for initial days, initial 2-3 days, there is no issue. But for automation testing, the laptop is mandatory. Why? Because you need to practice the programs now. So that's why. Okay. For every program, you need to practice. So that's why. So, I mean, if you don't want to practice, only if you want to listen the class, iPad is okay. But you want to practice, better go with a laptop. That is recommended. Okay.
Okay,
Right.
I'll try to.
Yes. Any queries?
That's it.
Okay. So then tomorrow onwards, I'll continue your regular classes at the same time. Okay.
Yeah.
So initial days, just 2-3 days, I'll take this 45 or 50 minutes. Once you are comfortable with all these things, then we can continue with the 1 hour session. It is daily 1 hour session only for first 2-3 days. I'll take this small session. Why? Because if I explain more things, it is difficult for you. So after you are comfortable with this, then I'll continue with the 1 hour within 2 or 3 days. Okay.
All
Right.
right. Thank
Please
you.
check all the recordings. Please download the recordings with using the Srinivas. Just he will send a link to you. So based on the link, you need to download the recording session and just go through the recording. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the tomorrow session. Okay.
Sure.
For
Sure.
today, I'm closing here. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you.